Hello and welcome to the news at 7, where we get to the heart of the day's stories here in Scotland and across the world tonight. As more airstrikes hit Kyiv overnight, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky indicates he may negotiate on territory. And the cast of Two Doors Down on their love of the show ahead of the Christmas special, which airs tonight. Hello, I'm Sarah McMillan. Welcome to the news at 7. Hello there. President Zelensky has signalled for the first time that he would be willing to negotiate with Russia about territory to bring about an end to the war in Ukraine. An updated draft of a 20-point peace plan agreed by US and Ukrainian officials includes the possibility of troops being withdrawn from the Donbass, which the Ukrainian leader has always rejected in the past. Moscow is currently reviewing the plan. Samira Hussein reports now from Kyiv.
Another night, another Russian airstrike. This video, released by Ukraine's emergency services from the southeastern city of Zaporizhzhia, shows buildings set alight in a residential part of the city. Tatiana lives nearby and heard the explosion. It was horrible, she says. We were waiting to receive assistance. It was so frightening. We ran into the corridor and stayed there for a while. In the light of day, residents show what's left of their homes. Broken glass and debris littered everywhere. In his Christmas address, Ukraine's president reacted to this latest attack.
On Christmas Eve, the Russians once again showed who they really are. Massive attack, hundreds of Shahed drones, ballistics, daggers, it was all there. This is how atheists strike.
Today, Mr. Zelensky talked for the first time about the details of a 20-point peace plan that could form the basis of a ceasefire. The draft plan includes the option for a freeze across all the front lines, but another option, which Donald Trump has been pushing, is a so-called free economic zone. But that could only happen if both Russia and Ukraine pull out of the entire Donbass region. With security guarantees from the US, NATO, and Europe for a coordinated military response if Russia invades again. But wider territorial issues remain unresolved. From Kyiv's perspective, this is a very workable plan. Now the ball is in Moscow's court. But Mr. Putin has never really given any indication that he's willing to settle for anything less than the entire Donbass region. Ukrainian soldiers on the front line being blessed on this Christmas Eve and hoping this is the last holiday marred by war. Samira Hussein, BBC News, Kyiv.
Well, in other news this evening, police are investigating a rape in Queen's Park in Glasgow in the early hours of this morning. The force says it's investigating a report of a serious sexual assault between 12:30 and 1 a.m. in the park in the city's south side. There remains a police presence in the area and investigations are continuing. A 31-year-old man has appeared in court charged with attempted murder in Edinburgh in connection with a gangland feud. John Moore of North Lanarkshire made no plea to 3 charges of willful fire-raising, danger to life and attempted murder at Edinburgh Sheriff Court. The incidents took place at 3 addresses in Edinburgh in April. It brings the total number of arrests under Operation Portaledge now to 63. That's the operation launched by the police after a series of violent incidents this year across the east and west of Scotland. And elsewhere, 2 men have appeared at Glasgow Sheriff Court accused of being involved with serious and organised crime and the supply of drugs. David Stephen and Sean Brown, both aged 30, were arrested in Cambuslang near Glasgow yesterday as part of an operation by Police Scotland's Organised Crime and Counter-Terrorism Unit. Police said the raid was under Operation Benetic, which is part of a Europe-wide mission to dismantle organised crime groups utilising encrypted devices. Bethlehem is marking Christmas for the first time since the beginning of the war in Gaza. Following the recent ceasefire, celebrations have returned to the city, symbolised by the lighting of its giant Christmas tree. Our correspondent Shaima Khalil reports.
Too young to remember peace, old enough to understand fear. For more than 2 years, these children have lived amid destruction and death. This war has battered their young lives and reduced their city to ruins. After the recent ceasefire, prayers rise inside Gaza's Holy Family Church for this fragile pause in fighting to hold. 20-year-old Hilda has sheltered here with her family since the beginning of the war. What was once only a place of worship is now also their refuge. A church that has itself endured bloodshed from Israeli bombardment. It's impossible to celebrate, she tells me, but even here they try, holding on to small rituals, any semblance of festive cheer.
How's Christmas this time round after the ceasefire? Do you feel safer?
No. We can still hear the sounds of pumping, the sounds of shells. I can see the pumpings are very, very close and near to us. The most important thing that me and all my family are okay, and that's the Christmas for me now.
What do you miss most about Christmas before the war?
My home. To be honest, my home, my memories with my family inside our home, how we all of us joined the table of the dinner, our meals, the gifts we used to give to each other. We lost everything. Yani, I really miss the memories there.
Here, where the Christmas story began, the mood has shifted this year.
We will not let death or the shadow of war take hope from us. I think this is more about hope, it's more about resilience, and more about telling we exist, we are here. Christians and Muslims and everyone who lives here wants to declare that we are people who love life.
Inside the Church of the Nativity, a small number of pilgrims and tourists have returned, just a fraction of the crowds before the war. But after 2 years of near emptiness, their presence is deeply felt and desperately needed. As light fills the heart of the holy city, it brings a fleeting spark of joy, a fragile hope resting on a fragile ceasefire, and a Christmas still shaped by loss and grief. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Bethlehem.
For the second week in a row, the number of people with flu and those being hospitalised with it has dropped. Public Health Scotland figures show cases fell by 35%. 679 people were admitted to hospital with flu last week. That's compared to 950 the week before. However, deaths have continued to rise. 73 people died because of flu last week. That's 6 more than the week before that. ScotRail has been ordered to withdraw claims that it offers the cheapest tickets on its website after a watchdog ruled it was misleading. In August, advertising online claimed to be unbeatable on price, but a customer found cheaper tickets elsewhere. The Advertising Standards Authority has ruled the ad must now be pulled and that ScotRail must ensure it doesn't mislead customers in the future. The publicly owned rail operator says it's now changed the wording on its website. George Ecton filed that complaint.
I think if you're wanting in a cost of living crisis to enable people to travel for the cheapest possible fare, then that needs to be clear. And you shouldn't be claiming that you are the cheapest, and unbeatable on price was actually the wording that really brought my attention to it, if you're not. So hopefully ScotRail and others can reflect on how we market and how we sell train tickets going forwards across the UK, because I think we should be honest with passengers.
Now, it was feared that the show might never return to our screens after the death of its co-creator. But tonight, the multi-award-winning comedy Two Doors Down is back after a 2-year break for a Christmas special, broadcasting to the whole of the UK. Gillian Sharp went to chat to the cast about what we can expect.
Back in Latimer Crescent in time for Christmas. And no surprise, it's all round to Beth and Eric's. Actor Arabella Weir plays long-suffering Beth.
We're all friends outside, and we were before and we are now, and yeah, that's lovely. And we are, you're like a family, you bicker and no, you don't do that, and I was might go then, and why are you stepping on my line? But yeah, it's a loving, bickering family.
I just couldn't bear the thought of you sitting on your own all night, Beth.
An early episode of the programme featuring the fictional but familiar suburb. No one was sure another would ever happen after the death of co-creator Simon Carlyle 2 years ago. Elaine C. Smith, who plays Christine, says the return of the show could only have happened after time had passed.
When we got the news that we were going to do this, I thought actually maybe it is time, maybe we will be able to do it. So the script is very good, it's great to see everyone again and everything, and you realise how sort of beloved the show has become now as well.
Filming together again has been bittersweet.
Having the cast and the crew around, many of whom have worked in the show for many years, that has been a real kind of comfort, because it is a shadow. Obviously it's been such a terrible thing, a terrible tragedy, and the togetherness that everyone's shown has really kind of helped us all just get through it, and it's made this quite a kind of happy and joyous experience to be back together again.
I haven't got any mince pies.
And with a stage play set for next year, there's much more to come. Gillian Sharp, reporting Scotland.
And you can watch that Christmas special of Two Doors Down tonight at 10 o'clock over on BBC One Scotland. And of course, it is available for you too on the iPlayer. Now, let's see how the weather is looking for tomorrow. Here's Christopher with the details.
Good evening. Some lovely winter sunshine across many parts of the country today, but cloudier in the east in particular, and some low cloud mist and murk around the Moray Firth. And those conditions sticking with us through the course of this evening and overnight. So no real problems for Santa, but it will be a cold night. Temperatures here in towns and cities down to freezing, if not sub-zero, in the coldest parts of the countryside, -4. A little bit less cold on the coast and across the islands. So to tomorrow, and it is a cold and frosty start for many. Plenty of sunshine in the west, but you can see through parts of the central belt and the east coast in particular, that cloud likely to linger on and off through the course of the day, perhaps even producing the odd spot of drizzle. But for most, it's dry. And in the best of the sunshine, it's a fine afternoon. Temperatures 5 to 7 Celsius, so a cool feel, certainly feeling cool if you're underneath that stubborn cloud. Once again, there could well be some areas of mist and low cloud in towards the Moray Firth and at times across Orkney and Shetland as well. Winds largely light. And then Christmas Day night, it's dry with some clear skies, but once again that cloud in the North Sea will drift its way inland. So that means Boxing Day, a very similar sort of day of weather with the best of the sunshine in the northwest and southwest. Much of central and eastern Scotland seeing that cloud. Again, the chance of a spot of drizzle, but for most it is dry. Temperatures 4 to 7 Celsius, but once again, if we have some low cloud, mist and murk lingering, perhaps just 2 Celsius. To the weekend, high pressure sticking with us, dry but cloudy on Saturday, potentially foggy on Sunday. That's the forecast for now.
And finally, today, children all over the world have been watching this guy, Santa, on his rounds on Christmas Eve. And it looks like he's expected in Russia in just a couple of minutes. And they've been doing that with the help of the NORAD online tracker. But few people know that it began with just a simple misprint on a department store advert back in the 1950s. Fiona Lambden has the story for you.
It looks like Santa is delivering presents to the good boys and girls of Shanghai, China.
With Christmas now just hours away, trackers around the world are keeping a very close eye on Father Christmas as he makes his way across the globe.
NORAD is able to keep pinpoint accuracy on the heat signature from Rudolph's nose.
And over in the United States, their Aerospace Defense Command is once again using its radar and satellites to chart his progress. A tradition that's been going strong for 70 years. It all began back in 1955 with a simple typo. A department store placed a newspaper advert inviting children to phone Santa. But the number was misprinted, directing callers instead to the Air Defense Command.
This is Colonel Schaub, the commander of the Combat Alert Center. Who's this? Well, now the little voice is crying. Is this one of Santa's helpers then? Dad finally figured out, oh, this must really be a kid. So he said, ho, 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 this is not one of Santa's helpers. This is Santa Claus. And so the kid was, oh, thank goodness, and gave him his whole Christmas list. And he said, could you bring something nice for my mommy?
And ever since, for the last 7 decades, this team has been helping children track Santa using their radar. Fiona Lambden, BBC News.
Well, myself and all the team hope that Santa is very good to you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.